Hey folks, right, we've just finished the Upper Newport Bay Wildlife Conservation Area. And I didn't go into the main section. I've been there before, and it's quite a bit of a walk to the main water area. Big lake, big outlet, water coming through, a lot of seabirds, but they're all distant. And from the main area where people park and go for a jog, it was hot when I first come out about two hours ago. So I've been with the family for lunch and brunch. And by the time it was 2 hours till sunset, I made my excuses. I said, I need these 2 hours, I need to get out. So I followed my nose and I thought, okay, I'm gonna hug the top area. And I ended up at this area called San Diego Creek, where I looked like I could get closer to the water. And when I first parked up, okay, yeah, I'm pretty close. And I heard these bush tits, they're called. I managed to grab a picture. They really flew through. And oh boy, they are definitely the North American version of our long-tailed tits, for sure. Yeah, no doubt, they just have the exact same behavior. The chirp is very slightly different, but they're tiny, they've got long tails, they're just kind of gray all over with a little bit of brown. So I've got a couple of pictures of them, and I followed the flock. They just didn't seem to stop. I thought, what, are they actually stopping to eat? What are they doing? They're just continuously moving. But anyway, I followed those up, and then I thought, okay, I couldn't find them. They went deep into the scrub. And then I came onto the path, supposedly overlooking the water area. And it's just covered by bushes and trees. You cannot see out. And there are signs everywhere saying, conservation area, don't cross. And I'm like, is this a dead end? I'm usually pretty good at sniffing stuff out. What have I done wrong here? So I just carried on walking to see. And then eventually I saw a gap in the hedge. And when it got to the main road, there's a bridge going over, like a 4-lane carriageway going over. I could see there was a path down. So I went, okay, let's give this a chance, even though it, shouldn't go walking into strange dark places in the middle of LA or anywhere, but let's do it. Let's, just every few steps. I was like, yeah, okay. So got to the end and I could see signs up saying, do not pass this area for wildlife conservation. They're rewilding everything. It's great to see. So I thought, okay, fair enough. So I stood there, and as I stood there, things started to happen. And in no particular order, I'll just throw stuff over. But there were great white egrets, little egrets, sorry, not little, we're in America, snowy egrets. They're all feeding in front of me. And the great white egret flew away at first when it saw me, and then came back and went, oh, you're still there, oh, you're not a threat, and got on with it. And the few snowy egrets were just mucking around and doing their usual thing like they do in England. The little egret version, they just fight all the time, and you can just hear them making that really sort of loud gargling, if they ever go at each other, even though there's tons of room for them to feed. Maybe they're the best spots, the very best spots, and they want those. But it was going to be all the usual. I could see marbled godwits. I photographed a couple of the Hudsonian whimbrel. Those are the American ones coming in. I could see all the least sandpipers, curlew, and looking around, any unusual things, anything. A couple of turkey vultures would come in right down low. They were landing on the ground. And it was at eye level, so I flicked a slow-mo and got a little bit of slow-mo of these beautiful, in good light, turkey vulture. It was perfect lighting because the light was slightly more diffused. So instead of getting their usual white-out background, a little bit of footage for a change at eye level, which is really unusual, but they were circling low. And the funny thing is, nothing was going up. It wasn't like panic stations. They just maybe knew that there's no chance. Turkey vultures will never catch anything. They're just too clumsy. And yeah, just loads of willets or won'ts. There were cormorants going over, pelicans, and then I swear out the corner of my eye, I saw a green heron. I knew the shape, the size, and as soon as it landed, got my camera up, couldn't find it. It was on the other side of the water, on the other side of the bridge, which I'd have to go sort of back and round on myself to get to. And I was pulling my hair out to get this, and it's over there, and I could see a running track and a cycle track, which would give it perfect views if I was there. It would be down there, and I was watching for anybody running by or cycling by to scare it up, and it didn't move. I thought, okay, right, we've got about 25 minutes, get over there. It doesn't look like a far walk. So I went over the top, and when I was on the road over, the bridge over, there's a red-tailed hawk, looks quite juvenile, on one of the lampposts. So I just set the tripod up and thought, is this traffic going to cause much wind? No, it turned out okay. It was pretty good. A decent few seconds. At the moment, you can hear black phoebes, and I can see them. That's what's making the chirping noise. They come out this time of night. And yeah, so I just got that, moved on, went the cycle track down to the other side of the bridge, which was nice, handy. And what was the first thing? Looked out, just checking, and the long-tailed, well, I nearly said long-tailed, the bush tits, the flock of blue bush tits came through. And this time they went into a bush and stayed in the area, and I managed to fire off and get loads of frame-filling photos, pin sharp. Excellent, really happy with that, just firing away. They were moving around and sort of only half coming out, and then once in a while one would land smack in the middle on a branch with nothing in its face and just sit there literally for 20 or 30 seconds and just look around. And I was firing away and firing away and firing away. And I did flick to my 4K crop and video, and I might have got that 10 seconds worth if I slow it down 50%. You're seeing that. Definitely, yeah. So you see, they look, I think if I recall, they've got a little kind of blackish rufusy top cap, and the rest is kind of grey, slate grey. I was really happy about that because I missed them where I'd parked the car. And I was like, right, it's one of my things, I've got to get it. I've got to get this picture of them. But anyway, I finished with those and I thought, okay, green heron, let's go around this cycle track. And I walked through and it was right underneath the bridge in the dark. And there's all these rocks. And I thought, right, this is going to be hard to spot. And it didn't take too long. It was hunched down. I know what a green heron looks like. And people are running by and cycling by, and okay. And I did the thing where I went against my rules, where I didn't take a bit of handheld footage first, just for the record that I got it. I actually thought, no, I'm going to chance it. And I put the camera on the tripod and filmed it. And I had to film for about 2 minutes because it was like a tunnel of wind because of this bridge. So I waited until I looked like it got 10 seconds worth, which I can slow down to use and show you like what I'm showing you now. And then I flicked to the slowest shutter speed I could try to get away with, which was 1/20th of a second, to keep it at about 2000 ISO. And I just fired away until I got a pin sharp shot. I'm sure that'll be pin sharp when I get it back onto my computer. Really, yeah, so over the moon with that. That goes on the list. I'm like a dog with a bone with these things. When I want a good photo of what I've just seen. I want to confirm, and I know what I'm talking about. Really good. So I thought, okay, we're done now. We started going back. And I thought I'll just scan the horizon of all the little birds that are backlit and horribly lit on the floor, on the mud flats, which were obviously Wimbrel, Marble Godwit. And then just back and forth, boom, blue-winged teal. Awesome. Now, not a lifer, because in 2022, when we went to Costa Rica, I got them from the coach window, distant on a pool pond. So not a lifer, but still not great stuff. It was like a couple. And I want, now I'm dog with the bone. I want the frame filling stuff. And I think I might have to go to a park or something for some really tame ones. But I'm going to get those blue-winged teal. It's the end of me. And then, just a Western grebe. I was wondering what I'd forgotten. I'd filmed something for the last second. It was just literally to show you the number of different species that are here. So I followed my nose. At first, it seemed like a bit of a dead end, and then not too bad. Got some really good shots out of that. No lifers today. I don't think I've got any lifers. Yeah, so let me just check my list. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are no lifers today. But I'll just read you off the, oh, sorry, almost forgot about this. When I left my family, there were like 4 or 5 tropical kingbirds on a wire. And I was taking some photos of one, and one coughed up a pip. Lovely, a bit juicy pip. By the time I flicked a video, they'd all flown off. But yeah, no lifers today. Definitely I've got royal terns and elegant terns. Elegant, yeah. I've got the royals because Merlin picked them up as they flew over my head. So I've definitely got both of those. Yeah, and right now, because of that green heron, I'm at 110 species and 32 lifers. Gosh, see you tomorrow. Good morning, folks, from Bolsa Chica. I'm starting today for the first time at the, where are we? The northern end by our hotel. I didn't know this existed. There's some sort of conservation area building with vans that must do all the maintenance, I guess. Yeah, because who does all the maintenance? Because somebody's got to. So it's not just a random place that looks after itself. It does have to be managed. Nature has to be managed, ironically. But across from the hotel means I have to take the car, and I'm going to do the long walk all the way down to the car park where I usually start. And it's a nice grey day. I opened the window and I went, oh good, no suntan lotion today. And well, to start the day anyway. And the diffused lighting is going to make for some good photos and video. There'll be no flight shots, obviously, the light is way too low. It might brighten up in an hour or so. It's about 7:45 in the morning. We're going to have a couple of hours, then we are off to San Diego. So I just crossed the road and straight away you can see greater yellowlegs hunting around in the scrub. And I saw some least sandpipers take off from there. And then just across the way from there, there was a great egret and a snowy egret hunting together. And perfect conditions, like I said, for some stills. That makes a good photo with them lined up together like that. And the diffused lighting means the whites aren't blown out. Other things I've seen, I didn't take a video of it, I was just checking what it was a night heron was flying over. There was a rabbit running around in the grass. And just on the fence to the left of me on the path, there was an American kestrel obviously catching lizards. And we said, look, juvenile, it was just perched up on the fence, no wind, so 4K crop mode it is, a bit of video. Good, nice start to the day, and there'll be 6 days in San Diego, and then back to LA for 5. So we're literally just halfway through the holiday. And I'm at like almost 110 species, and what was it, 32 or 33 lifers. Happy days. And we're just at the midway point now. I'm definitely going to do the whole thing, I think. Yeah, I could get out of that road there, that path out to the main road. But yeah, this is totally different. I've not seen any of this. Yeah, little white crowned sparrow, maybe a juvenile or female, hasn't got the white. But over there, just 2/3 of the way along, my first reddish egret. Got them here last time. Better video this time because of the harsh lighting last time. This was, yeah, nicely exposed, diffused lighting, perfect. The sun hasn't burnt away any of the mist yet. But then it's not misty, it's just grey. Yeah, there's a little bit of mist, a little bit of sea mist. But I can see, like a couple of miles out to sea, there's a destroyer out there. Pelicans going by. And so, yeah, I watched the reddish egret for 5 minutes and I was going to put the camera on the tripod, but it wouldn't stay still. It kept moving and moving. Okay, so against my preferred steady shots, I went handheld, but that's fine when you're moving around because birds going up and down very hard on the tripod to do that. So I just filmed it, and I noticed also that every so often it'd start jumping and flapping, but eventually it did grab a fish. So I don't know what it's doing. If you tried to do that and catch a fish, you got no chance. But it knew what it was doing. It must have forced it into a little cove or something. So just grab it. It just went, yep, that'll do. It was gone. But yeah, when I had them back last time, they're all fluffed up with their head tucked in. So I didn't know they had such long beaks. That was long necks, sorry. That's the first time I've ever seen them. And that looks like a proper heron. When the neck comes out, very long. And then just before that, even closer, I'm getting closer and closer, more blue-winged teal, a big flock of them, much better video this time. So we're getting there, very noticeable. They look smaller than the widgeon. The American widgeons did go by in a flock. And when you look at them from the distance, you can see they look about 1/3 of the size bigger. I'm not sure if I'm imagining that or if that's a fact. But yeah, a few males and a few females. I think, what was it, about 8 or 10 in the flock. Everyone's out for their morning walk and morning run. Ooh, flies jumping on me there. I did get a few seconds of footage of a California towhee. It was in the scrub moving around, and I was manually focused on it before it jumped out. I went, okay, I mean, I've got them before. It's not a big deal. Not great. I'm looking for some better photos. But it jumped out on the path, so obviously not that scared of humans because it was 3 feet away from me. But I did that thing, you know, where you turn slowly, and it jumped in the bush. So it was just making its way across the path. It actually wasn't scared of me, I don't think. It was just like, yeah, I'm going over there to have some feeding. Don't mind me. But anyway, get going. And yeah, that looks like about another 40 minutes walk unless I see something and it stops me and I have to film for ages. Right, so I knew this was going to happen. Eventually, I was just going to land literally on top of the blue-winged teal. Look at this. Yeah, we just got round to this channel of water where there are loads of ducks, loads of different waders, and blue-winged teal, yeah, just on the side of the bank preening, bold as brass. And there were all these other waders, and I could see there were the ruddy ducks, the American widgeon, and something else. And I was trying to figure out what they were. I took some pictures, very plain looking, with a little white bar at the back of the bill, and put it on Merlin. It said lesser scorp. I was saying lesser scalp a long time ago. Somebody corrected me. I think it's lesser scorp. I hope that's correct and I'm not sounding like an idiot. And I've just checked with the bird and he said, yeah, it's right. It's a female. They're mostly female here. Supposed female was 2 or 3 of them. I was looking for darker birds, hoping I'd see a male. but apparently, yeah, lesser scorp. I got a really bad picture of that maybe in 2020 or 2021. So it's technically, it's not a lifer. And here's the ruddy ducks. And for you podcasters, obviously, you have to go to the vlog and you'll see the corresponding footage. Because yeah, what was happening was I looked at Merlin and it showed a blue winged teal. So it must have let out a call because I thought I haven't seen any. And that's what set me off to the one that was on the bank, literally underneath my feet. And I'm on this, so I'm up here on this mound. Obviously it's going to be artificially created. I'm on a mound for podcasters. It looks like old quarries and industrial areas. Like most of these marshlands, they're brought back to nature. But very busy. I'm not going to be able to do the whole loop now because there is more happening here. There's more things I need to get more photographs of at this end. And I need to get back to the hotel because we're leaving in the next sort of 45 minutes. So I can't go too much further. The belted kingfisher, that's been flying around. I had to go up to 8,000 ISO, but I've got a couple of flight shots. Whether I'll keep those, I don't know. We'll see. And then just to the south of this mound, I saw a big, well, I was only alerted to it because some birds flew in, but they're really well camouflaged. And it's not until I put my camera on the 4K crop right onto them that you see it's hundreds of marble godwits, willets, and long-billed dowagers. That's the most I've seen so far. And there's probably a couple of other bits in there, maybe a curlew. I didn't see it, but I zoomed right in as close as I could. They're pretty distant on a strip of land just behind me. Yeah, and I think we better start getting back now because I think we've walked about sort of 3/4 of a mile. But we're coming back here now. I know that this side exists. I keep getting it wrong. The northern side, that's it, of the reserve, huge reserve, paths right up the channel, the water channel. I need to come back here, but it's good. It's because the other side was like, oh, I've done that 5 or 6 times since the 2 trips I've been here. So it's nice to see there's lots more going on. Yeah, 5 minutes ago, the Says Phoebe was a lifer, and now I'm seeing it everywhere. It's currently just to the right of me, hunting with a black Phoebe. Had me wondering for a second, have I got it wrong? Is it not a Says Phoebe? Is it the female? I better look into that. I'm sure I got it right, but by this point, I won't go any further. I've already sorted it out in previous videos. But I just got a few seconds of the footage. I won't bother now, it's a bit distant, but I am grabbing bits of stuff back there. I'm nearly back at the hotel now. Just behind me, some house finch landed. Now, house finch, very, very common here. Probably one of the most common small birds. And because it's so overcast and the light is diffused and they lined up with a bit of backdrop, then I had to get some still video with the wind being low. Because yeah, most of the footage is really going to be backlit and very heavy shadows and burnt out highlights with the sun that's coming up this week. But you never know, the mornings might be like this, which would be very handy. But I looked at the app this morning and it said cloudy. I went, good, that's the kind of walk I like to start the day and do something indoors for lunchtime and then get back out for sunset. Anyway, I think that's it until we get to San Diego, or unless we see something on the way. Right, finally got to San Diego with about an hour to spare till sunset. Hope you can see me. The sun is going behind the clouds, so it's not going to give me any sun flare probably. Now, we're staying in the area that looks like an elephant. I'll show you on the map. It really does look like an elephant's trunk. Out of the way, away from all the traffic, inland. It's a very boho looking area. Yeah, I think it was a right little touch to find this. We went on Airbnb because we wanted a kitchen, because eating out gets very expensive. But I'm just going to backtrack very slightly to when we left Huntington Beach, because I had the most blinding experience. I'm just going to show you the footage straight away. Western Osprey, check that out. But when we were leaving the hotel, I saw probably 3 ospreys on a bridge perched, and I was blessed. And Anna said, do you want to stop and see them? I said, no, let's just get on the way, we'll never get there. And we were going through Newport, I think it was, busy shopping area, looked up, and osprey on a lamppost. And I'm not letting that one get away. So I said, do you mind? She said, do I have a choice? So I stopped, got the tripod out, walked over thinking, would it still be there in a busy shopping area? It was. And it looked quite sleepy. So I just filmed from about 3 different angles. I got loads of photos, I zoomed right into its head. I got full body, hoping it would look at me. People were coming by asking what's going on, what it is. Somebody knew what it was because they'd not the name of it, but they'd seen them in New York City. Apparently there are loads in New York City, but didn't know the name. So I said Osprey, sea eagle. It's very unusual to see it in a shopping street. I mean, if this was happening in the UK, it'd be front page news. I couldn't believe it. My jaw, after like 4 hours ago, is still on the floor. I can't believe it. What did you think of that? A pin sharp. I mean, I'm never going to get better than that. I was saying to my wife, I said, when we get back to the Huntington Beach, I'm going to go looking for those Osprey. But I'm not going to need to now. I've got all the footage I'm ever going to need of the best. I'm never going to beat that quality. And yeah, there was something happening on I think it's the 5 South, about 5 days ago. Apparently, the military were firing off shells across the road, and one went off before it went out to sea, and the shrapnel hit some cars, so they had to shut the road, which has caused some traffic today. And I just thought we'd go through the mountains and go around to avoid it, because I didn't want to be sitting in traffic. And I thought, I don't care, I just want to be moving. I don't want to be sat in traffic. And if they did close that, like the Pacific Coast Highway up further north, there's nothing you can do, you're stuck. There are no other roads around it. So I just said, we're going to go round, and we did, which took an extra sort of hour, and it meant pushing it to the last minute, so no problem. But anyway, we've got to this area. This is like, for you podcasters, on the top, north of me, there's Dog Beach. So everybody's brought their dogs here. And on the south of me is Ocean Beach. And then there's some sort of estuary between me and SeaWorld. What do we got here? Ocean Beach Athletic Grounds, Ocean Beach Estuary. And I went over to the Ocean Beach Estuary because I've only had an hour, threw our bags into the property. Anna didn't want to go out. And I just left the property and got my camera and just followed my nose. And I went into this park, and all the birds are in there, but all the usual stuff, nothing new. Loads of great blue herons, loads of the pelicans, grey plovers, curlews, loads of willets, whimbrels, and yeah, the grey plovers especially. Loads of gulls, everything's in there. So at least that's literally within walking distance from where our flat is, either the beach or the estuary. So that's good for local. Obviously there's a bigger reserve on the south side of San Diego, right by the border. That's where I want to get to. But this is good for local if I just want to pop out in the morning and check out what's going on. But that's a good end to the night. We're here for 6 nights, and we're going to crush it here.